Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome. Welcome to Let's Keep It Real Media Talk Show. I am your host, Chantell Duke-Robinson, and I'm so excited to be before you today. Look, we got a good show. I have been doing some teaching, right? Some chatting, some chopping it up out of my book, right? My book, Fruit of the Harvest Ministries, a course on personal development and corrective thinking for spiritual and practical use. And I'm going to get into the second chapter with you today. But before I do that, let me do this. Let me do this. I want to read my disclaimer before I get started. Hopefully, I can see it. It looks kind of. Let's see if I can see it. If I can get it a little bigger. I put it on here. Oh, that's good enough. I might be able to do it. So I want to read my disclaimer, right? Please be advised there's a net flying around in my studio and I hate them. Let me read the disclaimer. Let's please be advised that the views and opinions of my guests and my state may not reflect mine. I am not offering counseling nor any advice that falls within the scope of my licensure governed by the state in which I reside. All I can't even see it. So let me see. All advice is given under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, whom governs my right to counsel as an ordained pastor. The counsel and information, let me see, the counsel and information are solely the views of the contributor of the show, which is me. My feedback, opinion, and expressions are based on my personal backgrounds and my Christian belief. Yay. So now that I've gotten that out the way, how are you? Come on, let's chop it up today. Come on in the studio. Come on and take a seat in your living room. I wish I'd have brung some spray because I think that was the same net from last week that decided to get on the show. How have your week been? Come on, tell me. Jump in the caption. Feel free to get. Let me put my chat window up just in case someone does jump on. That I can see if you're with me today. How's everybody doing? Listen, I've had a long week. And I look forward to coming onto the show today just to woosah a little bit, right? Some throughout the week, I've gotten into that woe it's me, no one cares mode, right? I blocked a few people and, a family and not friends, but family. I don't have any friends. And so I just, decided I did not want to be um, dealing with the same attitudes and behaviors year after year. So I decided to just block some folk, and that way I can be done with it and move on with all that God has for me um, this year, for the rest of the year, right? With peace. I want peace this year. So I'm hoping that I can find some peace for the rest of the year. So I was excited to get into the topic today. The topic is, let me put it up here so that you'll know for sure, right? It's woe is me. No one cares. Sometimes we get in that state of mind where we think no one cares about us or woe is me. I wrote a book. I've said it 100 times. I'm tired of hearing me say I wrote a book, right? But I wrote a book, and so I'm teaching out of that book. I'm bringing topics straight out of my book, my course book, and I'm just chopping it up. So for you all that do not know, I wrote a book. It's called Fruit of the Harvest Ministries, a course on personal development and corrective thinking for spiritual and practical use. And I would like to think I have gathered enough information in my age that I could give back. And so I put all that I've learned right in a book. And so I added some stuff to it to just make it sound interesting. And but for real, this some of this stuff was my life, right? Some of this stuff I had to actually work out. And so I'm hoping that it can help someone heal. I'm hoping it can help you get through some barriers that's probably the barriers that probably have prevented you from reaching some of the goals that you've set out to reach in life, right? Um, let's talk. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the chapter that we're going to be. Let me take a little turn. I'm thirsty. And put this little thing over here because the bugs, that bug is flying around. I don't want to drink a bug today, right? I did that, last year I was going somewhere and a bug flew in my throat. I almost choked to death and died. I later found out that was actually COVID. That's a whole nother show, right? So let's keep it real today. We're going to talk about woe is me. No one cares. I'm hoping you all are all doing good. Or the ones or twos, the fews that may pop on, please help me out here. Give me some of your feedback, your opinions as we move through the topic for today. So I'm going to read the introduction. Feeling like a victim comes easy for those who feel victimized. How many of y'all know that? How many of you all are feeling like a victim? It comes easy. We hear it all the time, and it's because they've been victimized. So it comes easy. It really does. It feels like it's something that they're used to, right? It has been my experience that feeling like the victim can look like self-pity to some. It can look like self-pity to some, right? You can look like a attention seeker, right? Because you maybe complain about, different things you've been through. When people want to know why, you are acting the way that you do. And then when you explain it to them, they may draw an opinion that is not so favorable, for you, and it just pisses you off, right? And so, but that's a whole nother. We'll touch that in a little bit. Let me finish reading. From me and my husband's perspective, sometimes individuals can feel like victims when they have no hope in a situation. No hope in a situation. Sometimes they can feel like a victim. If you have been labeled the black sheep in your family, you can adapt to rejection easily and ignore the pain, right? Because you're used to. How many of us out here, let's keep it real. You're used to being victimized. You're used to being treated some kind of way because, either you've labeled yourself or somebody in the family has told everybody, that you're pretty much a black sheep. Nobody's on what you're on or going through the things you're going through. So just they kind of blackballed you, right? Did I say that right? Blackball, blackwall, whatever. Yeah, right. You're on the blacklist, right? How many of you have said because of that has made you feel some kind of way, or you stand some kind of way now because you are the black sheep and woe is me and nobody cares anyway? So it is what it is. We have learned, Christian and I, we have learned as Christian leaders, according to scripture, some people can feel like thou didst say, woe is me now. For the Lord hath added grief to my sorrow. I fainted in my sighing, and I find no rest. Right? That's read out of Jeremiah 45:3, King James Version Bible. When things doesn't go their way, that's what you hear people say. They blame God and everybody else for feeling like a victim, right? When and they just don't, understand why, whoa, why is everybody treating me this way? Feeling like woe is me or like no one cares can stem from being rejected, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Come on now. It's not easy being connected with individuals who feel they are a victim. Um, there's no clear reason why they feel the way that they do. But I guess that's a typo. Sometimes we can feel like a victim and we don't know why we feel like a victim. Why? Why does these things people say and do to me cut so deep? We don't know why people can cut us so deep, right? Why we just feel like we're just not a part of people or things, or we're not invited, or we're not, looked upon as being a certain way, you know, why? It can be physically, maybe physically someone's been beating on you and telling you that no one loves you, no one ever will. And, is it physically? Is it mentally, right? Mentally, is somebody verbally abusing you and emotion, all that they've been saying to you and physically doing to you is making you feel like, whoa, it's me, no one cares. Is it emotionally? Is it affecting your emotions where you cannot feel, you cannot lift yourself up emotionally, right? Or are you always crying all the time? Have it led to depression because you feel like, whoa, it's me, no one cares? What is it? Sometimes people do not know. They just respond in those ways, like mentally, emotionally, and physically. They may become abusive. They may be experiencing depression. They may have been diagnosed with bipolar, right? Where their moods are up and down. They can go from 0 to 100 because of that bipolar. In the church, we call it spirit, right? In the world, in the practical sense or scientific sense, we call it bipolar, right? Is it emotionally? Are you all tied up emotionally? And now, can't no one say anything to you without you being so sensitive because of how you've been treated emotionally, mentally, and physically, right? We're going to chop it up tonight. It's not easy being connected with individuals who feel that they are victims. There's no clear reason why they feel, and there's no clear reason why they feel that way. Nevertheless, sometimes people really do feel victimized, but until they are able to identify the barriers in their thinking that has led them to feel no one cares or awards me, they will continue to feel victimized by others. It's time to look at that thing. It's time to identify it. It's time to look at it, right? Remember last week we were journaling, and we were trying to figure out, like, why people so angry, why they hate folk. And I said, let's do some journaling. So every week we, do until we start getting some folks. Listen, I'm about to be out in the fields. I'm about to be walking up to folk with a microphone and say, hey, listen, let's talk, you know, let's identify some stuff. Are you going through some stuff? You want to talk on live? I'm about to be out in the fields. Y'all about to see me. Give me 2 weeks. And I'm about to be out in the fields with my microphone. I'm about to do some field work. Yeah, I'm about to do some real life reporting for real, for real, for real, for real, right? And we're going to start identifying some of these things, that we've been faced with. A lot of people want to help, but they don't know how to help. They don't know what you need. So, until we are able to identify what we need, the help can be a long time coming. Right. So hopefully, when I start the field work, we can figure it out. Y'all folk that want to know, well, no, I'm sorry, I'm still fighting that folk that want to know will know, right? And then they can give you what you need in your community and put together something, right? Some kind of counseling or something. We need some money, right? Some money to get some programs and stuff going on in your community so that you will have somebody to talk to and share, some of this stuff. But you need, mental health is on an all-time high. I don't know about where you stay, but here in Dayton, Ohio, it's hard to get to get to talk to someone. It takes months before you can, see someone to talk about, some of the stuff you're going through in order for you to get a diagnosis and stuff. It takes a while to get into the clinic to talk to somebody. So I thank God for these kind of talk shows and stuff, that people that has enough knowledge to be able to try to say, hey, what's going on with you? What can I do to help? Right? I'm loving it. Let me get back in here. It said, I have learned some people feel victimized. Give me close. Okay, so I went on and I wrote. Some people really do feel victimized, but until they are able to identify the barriers in their thinking that lead to them to that has led them to feel like woe is me, no one cares, they will continue to feel victimized. I just said that. So I have learned sometimes people who feel victimized can be closed minded. Have you ever met someone like that? Let's talk. Have you ever met someone like that? They were just closed minded. They don't want to hear because they're not used to hearing people, um, concerns about them. If I walk up to someone that's been victimized, that feel like don't nobody care about me, woe is me, I'm always the one to get in the short end of the stick. If you walk up on someone like that and they feeling all of that, they're going to be, first off, they're going to be shocked that you even approach them to try to find out what's wrong with them. And then, if you can get them to listen and really believe, that you are there to help them, or you want to, help them, you know, they're going to be like, wow, why me? Because they don't think they deserve um, help, because no one ever offered them help. Nobody never cared. They've always done everything by themselves because no one has ever helped them, or cared about them. So you approach them and they're closed-minded, to what it takes a lot of work. You see people like that coming into the church all the time. They have broken hearts, and they're just, they've developed this relationship with God, because they didn't have friends or people that cared about the parents and stuff, or whoever, caregivers. And so they find their way to the church, and they come to the church, but yet they're closed-minded. And so it's a lot for leaders to break through that. Even if you're praying, you'll still see where, you're praying, 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 and you're coming out praying, praying, praying. And then you're coming out to see, the results of your prayer, in the lives of that individual that is closed minded, and you don't see any change. And the reason why we can't see change, leaders, is because they're closed minded. We have to have them open up their hearts and open up their minds so that the Lord can come in and through you, through his Holy Spirit, and so that you can get, them to agree. Because we can pray for people in the church until we blue in the face, but unless they agree, unless they forgive and let go some of the stuff that they've been harboring, our prayers are only going to go so far, because we need them to be on the same page that we're on. And so it's hard. Do you know someone like that? Like, they just don't feel like they deserve love or friendship. Like, I'm going to tell you, let me keep it real. I'd be shocked when people want to, develop a relationship with me, or even say they're going to do something for me. Because I'm the type of person, I'm not used to. I've had to get it from the mud, as my daughter would say. I had to get it out the mud. Nobody was there for me. No one helped me along the way. I had to learn everything that I've learned, on my own. But it was because, I opened my mind and my heart to be able to receive what it is that I needed, what it was that I needed in order to get what I wanted, right? And it wasn't necessarily to be a relationship with people or be a part of my family who rejected me. And I promise you right now, today, I'm just being honest. I used to couldn't say this without crying. I used to couldn't say this without just being so angry after crying. But it really meant something to me to be a part of certain people's lives in my family that was close to me. And, I was always tricked, thinking that, okay, this is an opportunity. Here's the opportunity. Here's the opportunity, only to get pie in my face and a lot of laughter, because I thought I was going to have that opportunity to connect with my family. I never understood, what did I do? Why would these people treat me like that? Why can't I be a part of their lives? I did not know. I didn't know. I started finding later on in life, right? A couple of them was honest enough to say to me, this is why that I hated you. Boldly came to my face and said, I'm ill, I'm sick, I'm in my body and I'm going through things. And, I just needed to come to you and tell you that I'm sorry. I've hated you my whole life. I've hated you. I was jealous of you. And I want to tell you I'm sorry. People that was very close to me, two of them. And the third one, I overheard them talking about me and never thought I did anything to them to deserve it. But it was something because God was taking me somewhere and I didn't know where he was taking me. And he exposed a lot of people that he knew I would be trying to drag along with me, right? And so he exposed these people in my life, and yet I love them still, and I still do, right? But at some point in my life, it was really important that I was a part of their life. And so once I started seeing that, no, I was not. And they never wanted me to be. And then once they confessed their hate towards me, and it was because of jealousy, I had to absorb that energy, and I carried it around for a while with the woe is me, nobody cares about me. And then eventually I got to a point, and thank God I was under good leadership at the time. My spiritual mom said, hey, you got to let that stuff go. Let it go. And so I started at that time, it was years ago, maybe 1995. I started working on healing myself after hearing those confessions of those loved ones. I just started saying, it's okay. I forgive everybody. I forgive everyone. I forgive, my mom for being a big part of causing people to hate me. I forgave my mom for the things that she's done, she allowed to happen to me. I forgave my father for not being there for me. I forgave, other family members, and I forgave my children for not allowing me to be a mother to them because they were hearing a lot of things. Well, one of them was hearing a lot of things from that family, one of the family members that hated me. So it changed my, child's outlook upon me. But, it was in our lives, in our families today. We have a lot of people, for whatever reason, right, have become black sheeps, black sheep. And I think the black sheep is more of the one that just don't get it right, just keep messing up, keep acting up, just doing everything that the family did not expect them to do. And so they just kind of push them out, and and just cut them off. And so that's a form of a black sheep too. But people can be blackballed by just people not just running a mouth and just creating all kind of lies. I found out all kind of lies. I found out those people that didn't like me, one of them deliberately, she said, I deliberately, behind your back, turned your family, family members against you. I did that. And she felt so badly about it. And, I just stood there like this, listening. Because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I wanted to ball up in a fetal position and just cry for forever, because that person, that one right there, I wouldn't have never thought that. So right, so we get this woe is me, no one cares, and we kind of settle in that until we figure out one day we need to be delivered, we need to be healed, we need to let go, we need to just let go so that we can be productive, right? Especially in ministry, because hurt people can hurt people, right? Even in relationships, hurt people can hurt people. And when you start hurting people, you're not doing anyone any good. But that might be who you are called to be, someone to help people. But you can't help people because you've been hurt and you haven't dealt with your hurt. So you get this woe is me. And then we get closed-minded. It goes on to say, and you get closed-minded and will use tactics such as blaming others, right? Blaming other people. I blame this person. I blame that person that said they hated me. I blame that person that said they was jealous of me for me being so angry right now, for me being having that feeling like nobody cares about me, for me blocking my blessings, right? Because people will come and try to love on you, and you kind of push them away with indirectly or directly, right? Because you have that closed mindedness that woe is me. You could end up blocking your own blessings and using tactics like blaming other people for it, like making excuses for being, feeling that way. Feeling that way. If you are someone who feels like, well, it's me and no one cares, then guess what? This lesson that I'm going to be talking about today is going to help you identify the barriers that have led you to feel that way. We're going to talk it up. We're going to chop it up. Come on, I need y'all to chime in, whether you do it now while I'm live or whether you do it later, because I'm going to look back at the video and just see how many views, how many comments, and I'm hoping to hear from someone that can say, hey, listen, that's not me today, but that's who I used to be, because I was a victim of people, of family, of words. And because I was a victim of words and family attitudes, I felt like that. I did become closed-minded. I was not able to receive love from other people and accolades and things like that, because I thought, if that is you, I need to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear, how did you come out from under that? How did you finally get to a place where you can forgive people or just move on with your life, right? After feeling, woe is me, nobody cares. We're going to do some journaling tonight. Last Saturday, every chapter that we're going to talk about is going to require some journaling, right? So I advise you to get, maybe when you come to the show for the next few weeks, I want you to bring some pencil and paper, because we're going to journal some stuff and we're going to be chopping it up. Like I said, give me 2 weeks, and I'm going to be out in the fields, and we're going to be talking to people live, talking to people about why they feel that way. And I'm going to bring them on. Well, I'm going to go live and I'm going to bring the recordings on, and I'm going to talk, and I'm going to show you what people had to say about the topic. Give me 2 weeks and I'm going to be out there. And so not only are you going to be able to weigh in on through social media platforms, but you're also, if you're local, if you see me out there, hey, run up, right? Because I want to hear from you. I want to hear about the barriers that have prevented you from reaching your goals. I want to be able to chop it up, talk about it, get you connected with people in the community that can help you get through some of this stuff, through some of this distortion in your thinking, in order that you are able to move forward. Okay? So listen, in order to get past feeling stuck, because a lot of times when we get that way with that woe is me, no one cares, we feel stuck, right? We just kind of don't want to do anything. Sometimes people get stuck in addictions. Sometimes people get stuck in relationships. Sometimes people are stuck, in the back seat, and they don't want to ride in the front, because they just feel like nobody's going to care about their creativity, their opinions, right? Um, the way they feel. And so you're just stuck. So in order to get past feeling stuck, we must understand what it is that got us stuck in the first place. What got you stuck? What got you feeling like, woe is me, no one cares? For some people, taking a look into their past can be terrifying, but sometimes we have to do that, right? As a Christians, we are expected to put our past behind and to focus on what is to come, right? Remember these things when you journal. You got to remember these things when you journal, right? As Christians, we are taught to put things behind and look forward, right? Be encouraged. And as you journal, to figure out and identify some of those barriers, some of those woe is me. And as a leader, as a pastor, I say some of those spirits, right? Once you start journaling and you identify some of those spirits that's jumping out, that's been influencing your thinking, we got a place for them. We got a place where we're going to put them. It was written in the scriptures, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling in God in Christ Jesus. This is a time to rid yourself of the emotions that has kept you stagnated, right? Yeah. So we're going to identify those things, right? Identify those barriers, those spirits, right? And then we're going to do something with them, right? It's time for you to get from being stuck so that you can press right forward towards the high mark. There are at least 5 ways you can get past the woe is me, no one cares mentally, right? According to Psychology Today, and they are: one, you have to take ownership and responsibility for your own needs and wants, right? I had to do that. I had to do that. I had to take responsibility for my own, I'm going to read it again, for my own needs and wants, right? I had to take responsibility. I had to take responsibility for what Chantell wanted. What do you want? What do you want? Right? And what do you need? I had to take responsibility for that. So that was step 1, according to Psychology Today. Step 2, practice saying no. Sometimes we get in that wars me, no one cares, and then we just allow ourselves to be a what is it called? A welcoming mat for people to just walk all over, right? Right? You don't have to kiss no one's butt for them to like you. You do, and I'm keeping it real. Let's keep it real. You don't have to serve them, to get them to pay attention to you or to like you. If it's something that someone is expecting you to do because they know that you love them, or you care about them, or you want to be a part of their clique or whatever, and so they get you to do things that you would not normally do, honey, you just simply say no. Don't make yourself look like a fool, right? Don't stoop to those levels, right? Understand and know, be responsible for what you want and what you need. And one of the things that you don't need is to feel less than, right? To feel like a black sheep. You don't have to feel those things, right? And when you stoop to those levels to satisfy people who you feel deserves it and they don't, at some point in your life, you're going to regret that. When you're able to wake up from that and say, hey, listen, I really need to focus on what I need and what I want. And when you start actually doing that, taking that first step and doing that, and you look back and see some of the things that you did in order to get attention. Pastor Chris just preached last Sunday on attention seekers, I think it was, right? And sometimes, when we are seeking the attention of other people's appraisal and stuff, we will do some of the craziest stuff in order to get their attention, or to win them over, or be a part of what they got going on. And then when you look back on that later, you feel like, wow, how stupid I looked. That was crazy. I'm just keeping it real. And then number 3, it says, Psychology Today says, to get past the woe is me, no one cares. Psychology Today says to stop blaming. The third thing, stop blaming other people. Stop blaming those people, right? So when you don't get what you want after you've humbled yourself and you've done everything to please other people, be it in your churches, on your jobs, in your relationships, when you realize you didn't get that promotion, you're not treated with no more respect than you started out in your marriages or whatever, in your church, you was not, you didn't get lifted, taken to the next level, you didn't get ordained or whatever it is you were looking for, you did not get to be on the usher board. When you get to that place, You have to take responsibility. The first step, remember, for what you need and what you want. Don't blame other people from not being able to achieve in those at least 3 areas, in those 3 areas that I gave you. So you weren't able to achieve the things that you wanted to achieve. And so now you're blaming your pastor, you're blaming your boss, you're blaming your husband or your wife because you weren't able to get what you wanted from them, right? And then so you're in that woe is me, nobody cares, no one sees me, no one understands, right? Stop expecting other people to give you what you need and create it, right? Create your own space, do your own thing, right? Create your own world. You listen, you have a blank canvas right now. I'm popping my fingers. Your life canvas have been erased. Look, you know those big giant post-it notes? You can stick them on the walls like you're doing presentation. You pull them out and you just pull one off when you're ready. Okay, pull the one yours off. The one you started when you start creating your life. Pull it off. Pull that, and now you have a whole new canvas. Start creating what you want your world to look like, right? Did I tell you guys I was a mindful, what's it called? Mindset coach. Yeah. Change your mindset. Change your mindset. Change your mindset. Clear canvas. Create your life. Stop saying, woe is me. Why is it woe is me? Why is it woe is me? Is that coming off of your canvas? Is that the picture you drew? If that's the case, you can erase or you can change. It's yours. Your life is yours. You create it to be what you want it to be with God's guidance, right? Something don't feel right, something don't look right, something don't smell right, something don't taste right. Remove it. Stop indulging. That way you will get out of that. Woe is me, no one cares. It was written in scripture, brethren, I counted nine. Okay, I already read that. There are at least 5 ways. That's where we are. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming other people, right? For your past. What happened in the past is done. You can't fix that. You can't go back in time and fix those things. You have to be healed. I speak it right now in the name of Jesus for the Christians in the name of Jesus. You are healed today. The blood of Jesus be upon you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. That is my signature scripture. I use it all the time. Be healed. Stop blaming. Number 4, become aware of the root of your sense of powerlessness. Oh, come on. That was good. Powerlessness. Be aware of the root. When did you become powerless, right? In that situation. Right before you sat down and said, woe is me, right? Nobody cares about me. When did you get to that point? Journal and write it out. When so-and-so molested me, when mama gave me away for adoption, when mom and them turned their back on me, when dad didn't care about me, kicked me out the house. When did you become powerless and standing up for yourself and just putting blame where blame goes right? You have to feel, you're responsible for feeling the way that you feel. People can do and say anything. But at the end of the day, I had to be responsible for the way I felt. My husband, he had to talk me through some stuff, honey. And every now and then he has to remind me, you know, you're responsible for the way you respond to what people say or do. It is what it is. They are who they are. They did what they did. How you going to deal with it? Are you going to keep allowing them to have that power over you? Are you going to keep allowing them to make you feel, or it, or whatever it is that caused you to feel like, woe is me? Are you going to allow them to, sometimes, let me stop. Because sometimes if you're dealing with mental health issues, like them spirits / barriers are on you in your head, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to let stuff go. So, I recommend Jesus. I mean, I do. I almost bit my tongue. I recommend Jesus. Let me say it again. Jesus, 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 Jesus. Because the devil ain't going to make me bite my tongue. Jesus, Jesus. I'm going to keep it real. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I recommend Jesus. I just do. The doctor will recommend, medication and things like that. And hey, whatever works. However, Jesus can channel through, because he did spit on some mud and put it on folks' eyes. So I don't know what Jesus might do. So I'm not gonna tell nobody not to take no medicine. I'm not saying don't take your medicine or don't go get no medicine. All I'm saying is you get you some help. Don't let nobody occupy no space in your mind because of something they've done or they try to make you feel. You have, listen, if you don't have to receive that, you just don't. And if you've already received it, then you need to give it back. Let it go. Let it go. And forgive them. And start creating on your blank canvas the way you want your mindset to be, right? I want to be at peace. I want to be, draw a big old fat happy face, emojis. This is how I want to feel today. Every time I think about this person, I'm going to put a corrective on it. I'm going to put an emoji face on it. Walk around planting flowers in your mind on all the negativity, all the things that make you feel like, woe is me, no one cares. Say, oh, I forgive you in your head and put a flower there. Plant a flower. Drop a seed. Be healed in Jesus' name. Do whatever it is that you need to do to get past those moments of insanity. If it's going to keep popping up in your head, okay, so it will. Put something good in that space. So eventually, when it pops up, all you're seeing is what you've planted. A flower, an emoji, whatever. So that you can start or practice looking at that situation in a different way. And so that you can start promoting positive energy within your space, right? Between your ears, above your eyes, the back of your head, your skull, your scalp, in the back, deep. We have too much to deal with in life today. It seems like when we turn on the TV and we watch the news, it kind of dictates, it tries to, things that's happening in the world tries to dictate how you will feel that day. Whether it be the weather, the fear of war, who's about to be elected, who could possibly be elected if you don't go and vote, all kind of stuff. can promote fear, depression, stress. We don't need anything just popping up as soon as you open your eyeballs, you know, and get your clothes on, get dressed. You're driving or walking into the butt, whatever you're going to go, where you go. And here come these thoughts popping up in your head, worrying you to death. Put a flower on it, honey. Put an emoji up there. Do whatever you have to do. Don't be so nasty when you're going out to the little restaurants and stopping here and there. You have to deal with folk that's working and carrying on in the public and they stressed out. You see, and the first thing you do, you want to challenge them to see how mean you can be, or if they're going to give you customer service wise, if they're going to give you the best customer service or not. And if you're going to determine if you're going to give them a tip, just smile and give them a tip anyway. I almost cussed right there. Give them the tip any damn way. Just give it to them. Love on them. That woe is me, nobody cares. That's something that you brought upon yourself. Do whatever you have to do. I told you before I started, I block people. I blocked them and put an emoji right there. A smiley face emoji where that memory is. I got a lot of them. So now when I think of them, I don't think about the negative and the hurt and the pain. I don't think about those things. I just see good. I love them. That's my way of still loving them. I got a couple questions. And we're done. We're pretty much done. We're gonna chop it up a little bit after this. So it's a quiz. This is a quick. Let me see. Let me make sure. Let me give you some homework. Let me see. So in the book. So after you do your journaling, right? In the book, after you do your journaling, you talk about the correctives that you learn, right? Again, we're talking from my book, Fruit of the Harvest Ministries, a course on personal development and corrective thinking for spiritual and practical use. And if you want it, I can tell you how to get it. You can always just drop it. But I'm concerned with it. I just want to share the content of the book. That's more important to me than try to sell a book, because this is not that. I promise you. So after you do the journaling, right, to try to identify what makes you feel like that, after you get to the root of why you feel so powerless, when did you get to the point of feeling powerlessness? I want you to think about it, those things that you identify, and put an emoji on it. Plant a flower in that space. After you've forgiven or forgave yourself, right? Put something in place. So in the book it says, woe is me, no one cares, discussion, correctives learned. So what are some of the correctives to all that negative stuff you found in your journaling? What are some of the correctives you can put on it? I've given you forgiveness and love, and I shared with you that you can use, like, in your mindset, you can use plant flowers, you can use emojis in your mind to just replace those negative thoughts that will cause you to just feel some kind of way, continually, if you don't do something about it. Sometimes it's not so easy for people to just forgive. It just depends on the, what got, them to feeling, woe is me, nobody cares. It just depends. It can be hard. So practicing putting, happy things in the space that occupies your mind concerning those things or people, it's just a way that when you're visited, like, when those thoughts revisit your mind over and over again, you can combat woe is me, no one cares. You will, because if you keep planting good seed there, something's going to grow. You're going to get a harvest. You're going to get a harvest, honey. And forgiveness is going to spring up. Love is going to spring up for your enemy. Do you hear me? Love is going to spring up. But you have to do the work. You have to do the work. There's a bug flying around. I don't want to get in my stuff. You have to do the work. So tell me, if you get into this, if you're in it as deep as I am, once you listen, put in there some of the correctives to um, someone doing something or something happening that got you to the point that you feel like, woe is me, nobody cares about me. Like, I'm always going through it. I'm always up against something. What can you say? What can you do to change that? What positive affirmations can you give yourself to encourage you at that moment that thought comes up? How can you encourage yourself? If you really, really, really need to work in this area, I'm not talking about people that's just, I'm talking about people that's just really walking around in society that just feel like I'm going to go kill a couple of people, a whole bunch of folk, or I'm just ready to kill myself. I'm ready to kill myself because I feel like, woe is me. Nobody cares about me. I'm talking to those people today, to those individuals. I'm gonna put up this. First, I want to put this up. This is the National Domestic Violence Hotline number, right? Because a lot of times when people are going through domestic violence issues, this is how they feel. They feel like that. Woe is me, nobody's cares. So a lot of times they've been isolated from their family and their friends, and no one, you feel like no one cares because they've burnt bridges and no one is going to believe them and no one is going to even want to help them. I'm saying, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. I got it right there. Write it down. Or you can text the word START to 88788. You can text that word. And we can get someone to help you. You don't have to feel like, woe is me, like no one cares about me, because guess what? Someone does care. There's people out there that cares. And just because it's a dark place for you, it doesn't mean that there's no light, because there is light all around you. And so you just have to be strong enough to reach your hand out and say, I need help. I need help. I don't want to have a closed mind anymore, believing that no one cares about me and no one ever did, and because of that, I'm stuck. I want you to call. If you're in a domestic violence, if you've been human trafficked, right? You're going through stuff and someone has you hidden somewhere, but you have access to a phone and somehow you've stumbled across this show tonight. I want you to know that we care about you and that there is a way out, but you have to believe it today. We want you to live and not die in that situation, right? So I put the suicide hotline number and you can chat right now. The suicide hotline number, I think that number's been updated. I'm going to have to update that, but right now they're still answering that number that's posted right now. They're still answering that number, that call. 1-800-273-8255. If you are feeling like, woe is me, no one cares, and I don't want to be connected to this earth anymore, don't do it. Someone does care. You're just in a dark place right now, but there's light that surrounds you, and you just have to believe enough to just reach your hand up, and someone will see you and someone will help you. You have to trust and have faith that you can get through that mindset. Open your mind, open your heart, and know that there is another opportunity for you to recreate your life right? And it can be how you want it to be. And there's people that are out there that will help you do that. But you have to be willing, right? You have to be willing. 1-800-273-8255. Call someone now. It is imperative that you begin to get out of that mindset. Get out of it. And just know that there is help out there for you. Okay? It has been my pleasure to be on here tonight and to chop it up with you. I am just simply excited about what is going to happen in your life, about the changes that are going to be made, because you have finally decided, I'm coming out. I'm coming out. And so if I have been of any help to you in just working through, listen, before I go, I want to do this. I got this. I have in the back of the book, I have skill cards. So let me find, okay, so I'm going to give you 5 before I leave. I'm going to give you 5 steps to getting over the woe is me, no one cares. Here it goes. 5 steps. Number 1, stop and think about why you feel that way. Stop and think, and in your journaling, you should have been able to find out why you feel that way. Number 2, ask yourself, if you have the power to change, what makes you feel that way? Ask yourself, if you have the power to change, what makes you feel that way? Number 3, decide if you want to feel better about yourself. You got to come to that conclusion. You have to decide. If it's something you stuck in and you can't get out of it because you don't want to, then that's going to be a battle for you to overcome some of that stuff, right? So do something. And then the other one is number 4, do something therapeutic in order to feel better. Do something therapeutic in order to feel better, in order to let the thought pass. I don't know. There's a typo. So do something that's going to help you let that thought. So when the woe is me, no one cares come. When that thought comes, do something. And I said therapeutic in the book because I don't want you to go and get drunk or use some kind of alcohol or some other drug, and just sit back and let the thought pass like that. That's why I was specific in saying, do something therapeutic, right? Read a book, go walking, put your headsets on, call someone that you can talk, to the thought pass. Right. So number 4, do something therapeutic in order to feel better, in order to let the thought pass. 5, celebrate your motivation to change. That's the last thing you're going to do. So it's 5. I'm going to read them real quickly because I got to go. I got 2 minutes. Number 1, stop and think about why you feel that way. Number 2, ask yourself if you have the power to change what makes you feel that way. Right? Do you have the power? Are you enslaved right now? Someone holding your mindset? Are you in a marriage? Do you have the power? Think about it. Is it possible? Right? Number 3, decide if you want to feel better about yourself. Do you want to get out of that situation? Do you want to feel better? If it's a domestic violence situation, I just gave you a number. If it's a suicide situation, I just gave you a number. Decide if you want to feel better about yourself. You have to make that decision. Number 4, do something therapeutic in order to feel better, in order to let the thought pass. Do something other than getting high, getting drunk, cussing, clowning, fighting. Do something therapeutic that's going to help you pass that thought, woe is me, nobody cared, to help it pass without you having to deal with, to ponder on that. Stop pondering on that thought, right? Lastly, celebrate, baby. Celebrate. Celebrate your change. Celebrate that you will live and not die. Celebrate that you're coming out of that relationship that has caused you to feel that way. Celebrate the change. Celebrate recognizing what opportunities or resources are out there that can help you, and get started today to change that woe is me, no one cares. I love you. Pastor Chris love you. And I thank you for the opportunity to come on tonight and to be a part of your schedule, right? We love you. We love you. Period. And there's nothing you can do about it. So God bless you. Be encouraged. And I'm excited. We have Tamia, I think it's Tamia Starr coming on. She is a motivational speaker and she's going to be coming on next Saturday. And I am so happy and I look forward to her coming on and being a guest on the show. You take care, be encouraged in all that you do. And if there's anything I can do for you, please reach out, inbox us, and let's see what we can do. We'll make it happen. Look for me out in the fields. I will be out in the fields very soon and interviewing individuals that can use a little bit of encouragement and some resources on how to correct their thinking and develop personally. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe.